Welcome to Whisper Places 4K, where the world slows down and beauty quietly unfolds. Today, we invite you on a journey to 20 of the most enchanting villages across the globe. Places that feel like they were painted by the hands of an artist. Nestled between rolling hills, along serene rivers, or clinging to mountainsides, each village tells a story of timeless charm, culture, and harmony with nature. As you watch, you'll wander through cobblestone streets lined with quaint cottages, discover hidden gardens bursting with colors, and gaze upon landscapes so breathtaking that they seem almost unreal. These are destinations that awaken wonder, places where every corner frames a perfect picture, and every view leaves you in awe. Prepare to immerse yourself in the serenity, the details, and the magic of villages so beautiful they could exist only in dreams, but here, they are real, waiting to mesmerize your senses. Krumlov, tucked into a bend of the Vltava River, feels like stepping into a perfectly preserved storybook town. Its medieval core, crowned by the grand Krumlov Castle, rises above cobbled lanes that twist past Renaissance and Baroque facades. The castle's tower, painted in soft pastels, offers sweeping views over the terracotta rooftops and winding river below. Beyond its architecture, what makes this place truly special is the way history and daily life intertwine. Musicians still perform in the courtyards, while small family-owned shops sell traditional crafts. Walking along the narrow streets, you sense layers of heritage shaped by centuries of trade, art, and cultural exchange. In summer, the river comes alive with kayakers and rafters, while festivals bring music, theater, and medieval costumes to the streets. At night, when the castle glows against the dark sky, the town seems suspended in time. For many visitors, Krumlov is not just a destination, but a feeling and enchanting blend of beauty, intimacy, and history that leaves an impression long after you depart. Seydisfjördur, tucked away in Iceland's remote east fjords, feels like a place drawn from a dream. Colorful wooden houses line the water's edge, their reflections shimmering against the deep blue fjord, while steep mountains rise dramatically. On both sides, often veiled in drifting mist, this small fishing town has long been a hub for artists, travelers, and seafarers, its history shaped by trade and connection with the wider world. Walking through its narrow streets, one can't miss the iconic Blue Church, a beloved landmark where music often fills the air during local festivals. Beyond its charm, Seydisfjördur carries a deeper sense of peace. The surrounding landscapes invite quiet hikes to waterfalls that tumble from the cliffs, while in summer, wildflowers bloom across the valleys. For many visitors, the journey here through winding mountain roads, past snow patches and shimmering lakes is as memorable as the village itself. It is a place that balances serenity with creativity, where nature and culture merge seamlessly, offering travelers not only beauty to admire, but also a chance to slow down, reflect, and truly feel the spirit of Iceland's hidden east. Foroglio, a hidden gem in the Bavona Valley of Switzerland, feels like stepping into another era where time flows more slowly. The village is best known for its dramatic 80-meter waterfall, which crashes down behind stone houses built in the traditional Ticino style. These rustic dwellings, made of granite with wooden balconies, tell stories of generations who lived in harmony with the harsh yet beautiful alpine environment. Walking through the narrow lanes, you'll notice how the architecture blends seamlessly with the surrounding cliffs and forests, a perfect example of human adaptation to nature. Yet Foroglio is not only about its picture-perfect scenery. Many travelers speak of the quiet serenity here, the sound of water echoing through the valley, and the feeling of spring and summer, wildflowers brighten the meadows, while in autumn, the mountainside glows with golden hues. What makes Foroglio even more meaningful is its authenticity. This is not a staged attraction, but a living heritage site where traditions and landscapes remain preserved. Standing before the waterfall, visitors often describe a sense of humility and renewal, as if nature itself is reminding us of life's deeper rhythms. Sonogno, a tiny village tucked away at the very end of Valle Verzasca in Switzerland, feels like stepping into a living postcard. Its stone houses with heavy slate roofs, narrow cobbled lanes, and the 15th century church of Santa Maria Assunta tell stories of a community shaped by centuries of alpine tradition. What makes Sonogno especially captivating is how it seems untouched by time. You can almost hear the echoes of generations who farmed these lands and tended their animals on steep mountain slopes. Beyond the village, waterfalls plunge down mossy cliffs feeding the Emerald Verzasca River, whose crystalline waters are famous among hikers and photographers. Walking here is more than sightseeing. It feels like entering a space where nature and culture have always been inseparable. I often tell visitors to slow down, breathe the crisp mountain air, and notice how even the simplest details, the flower boxes under wooden balconies, the sound of cowbells, or the scent of fresh bread from the local forno capture the spirit of Swiss mountain life. In Sonogno, you don't just visit. You become part of a rhythm that has flowed for centuries, quiet and enduring. Barichara, Colombia feels like stepping into a living museum, a colonial jewel preserved in time. Its cobbled streets, framed by whitewashed houses with terracotta roofs, give a sense of harmony and quiet elegance. Founded in the 18th century, the town flourished with sandstone architecture, much of which remains intact today. Walking here, you can feel why it is often called the prettiest town in Colombia. Yet Barichara is not only about beauty, it is also about atmosphere. As you stroll through the main square, the San Lorenzo Cathedral rises in warm golden tones, its stones glowing at sunset. Around you, artisans still carve sandstone using centuries-old techniques, keeping traditions alive. From the town, the Camino Real Trail leads to Wae, a tiny village that seems untouched by modern time, offering sweeping canyon views along the way. Visitors often say Barichara has a soul. It's in the stillness of mornings, the gentle rhythm of life, and the feeling that history whispers from every corner. To stand here is to discover a Colombia beyond the bustle, a place where authenticity quietly endures. Fenghuang, often called the Phoenix Ancient Town, rests gracefully along the banks of the Tujiang River in Hunan Province. Its stilted wooden houses, or Dayaojalu, lean over the water as if time itself has slowed to admire their reflection. Narrow cobblestone lanes wind between centuries-old buildings, where red lanterns sway gently at night and the rhythm of local life still follows traditions passed down for generations. Beyond its beauty, Fenghuang carries the heritage of the Miao and Tuxia ethnic minorities, whose vibrant embroidery, silver jewelry, and folk songs add layers of cultural richness. Walking here feels like stepping inside a living museum where history and daily life are seamlessly intertwined. The sound of boatmen guiding bamboo rafts across the misty river, the aroma of street food like ginger candy and rice wine drifting through alleys, and the sight of ancient walls built during the Ming Dynasty all leave a deep impression. What makes Fenghuang so unforgettable is not just its picturesque setting, but also the feeling that you are witnessing a place where the past has not been erased, but continues to breathe within the present. Rovinj, a jewel of Croatia's Istrian peninsula, is a village a small fishing port. Its heart is a maze of cobbled lanes and pastel-colored houses rising toward the hilltop church of St. Euphemia. From the harbor, boats still sway as they have for centuries, and the scent of the sea drifts through stone archways. Yet Rovinj is more than picturesque charm. It carries layers of Venetian heritage, seen in its narrow Gothic windows and bell towers that echo Italy's influence. Walking here, you notice the rhythm of life is unhurried. Locals chat in hidden courtyards, while artists set up easels along the waterfront, capturing the glow of sunset on terracotta rooftops. Beyond the old town, pine forests meet rocky beaches where the Adriatic's waters shimmer in shades of turquoise. For travelers, Rovinj feels both timeless and alive, a place where history and everyday life blend seamlessly. Many visitors describe it as the most romantic town in Croatia, and standing on the promenade at dusk, with lanterns flickering against the sea, it is easy to understand why. Monemvasia, often called the Gibraltar of the East, is a medieval fortress town carved into a massive rock off the coast of the Peloponnese. Connected to the mainland by a narrow causeway, it feels like stepping back in time. The stone, houses, Byzantine churches, and winding cobblestone alleys preserve the spirit of centuries gone by. What makes Monemvasia extraordinary is not only its history, but also the atmosphere. Walking through its vaulted passageways, you sense the layers of Venetian, Byzantine, and Ottoman influence. Half of the charm lies in its dramatic geography. The upper town, perched high on the cliff, once served as an impregnable citadel, while the lower town descends gracefully toward the Aegean Sea. Travelers often say that sunrise here is magical, as the first light paints the red rooftops and sea walls in golden hues. Unlike other tourist-heavy destinations, Monemvasia still carries a quiet authenticity. Families run small tavernas, artisans sell handmade goods, and life moves slowly within its ancient walls. It's a place where history and beauty converge, leaving you with the feeling that you've wandered into a living storybook. Seixal, a small coastal village on Madeira's rugged north shore, feels like a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Known for its striking black sand beach, one of the few on the island, it offers a rare contrast to Madeira's usually rocky coastline. The beach, formed by volcanic origins, is embraced by towering green cliffs that seem to tumble straight into the Atlantic. On calm days, the water here turns a shimmering shade of turquoise, creating a natural pool-like setting where both locals and travelers come to swim. Just steps away lies the Seixal Natural Pools, carved by lava flows, where the ocean fills in crystalline basins perfect for a refreshing dip. Walking through the village, you'll notice how life here remains simple and traditional. Small whitewashed houses, terraced vineyards clinging to steep slopes, and a slower rhythm that captures Madeira's authentic spirit. From Seixal, the views toward the mountains and over the Atlantic are breathtaking, especially at sunset when the sky burns with golden light. Many visitors say it feels like stepping into a dream where raw nature, cultural heritage, and peaceful seclusion blend seamlessly together. Visby, on the Swedish island of Gotland, is often described as a living museum of medieval Europe. Once a powerful Hanseatic trading hub, the town still wears its history proudly through its cobbled streets, merchant houses, and the nearly 3.5-kilometer stone wall that still encircles it. Walking here feels like stepping into another century, where ruined church spires rise against the Baltic sky in roses. Climb along pastel-painted cottages. Yet Visby is not only a relic of the past. The town breathes with life during the summer, especially during Medieval Week, when locals dress in period costumes, markets fill the squares, and jousts echo the traditions of its trading heyday. Beyond the walls, the coastline opens to this shimmering Baltic, offering sea breezes and tranquil sunsets that have inspired countless artists and writers. What strikes most visitors is how Visby balances preservation with modern charm. Cafes serve Swedish pastries in centuries-old buildings, and quiet gardens bloom beside ruins left untouched for generations. As a traveler, you feel both the weight of history and the ease of island life, making Visby not just a destination, but an experience of timeless beauty. Wae Rebo, often called the village above the clouds, is hidden high in the mountains of Flores, Indonesia, and remains one of the country's most magical cultural treasures. This remote hamlet is famous for its Mbaru Niang, the tall, conical, thatched houses that have been carefully preserved for generations. Walking into Wae Rebo feels like stepping into another time, where daily life is still guided by ancestral traditions and a deep connection to nature. The journey itself is unforgettable, a trek through dense forest, misty ridges and cascading streams before the village suddenly reveals itself in a lush green valley. Visitors are welcomed warmly by the Madeira people, whose hospitality is as striking as the surrounding landscape. Staying overnight allows travelers to join in simple village routines, from drinking locally grown coffee to listening to stories passed down for centuries. The tranquility here is profound, broken only by the sounds of birds and the rustle of mountain winds. Wae Rebo is not just a place to see. It is a place to feel a living heritage where culture and nature exist in rare harmony, reminding us how deeply rooted traditions can shape a community's identity. Húsavík, often called the whale-watching capital of Iceland, rests gracefully along the Skálfandi Bay, where snow-capped mountains rise in the distance and the North Atlantic stretches endlessly. The village is known for its colorful wooden houses, its charming harbor, and above all, its unique connection to the sea. From here, travelers set out on traditional oak boats to witness humpback, minke, and sometimes even the elusive blue whale gliding through the waves. What makes Húsavík extraordinary is not only the abundance of marine life, but also the way locals have lived in harmony with these giants for generations, turning respect for nature into a cultural identity. Beyond the bay, geothermal baths invite visitors to soak in warm waters while gazing at the Arctic horizon, and the Húsavík Whale Museum offers a profound understanding of the region's maritime history. Walking through the town, you'll feel a blend of quiet authenticity and a deep sense of wonder, as if each gust of wind carries stories from both land and sea, making Húsavík a place that captures the spirit of Iceland in its purest form. Sankt Gilgen, nestled on the shores of Lake Wolfgangsee in Austria's Salzkammergut region, is often called the village of Mozart, as the composer's mother was born here and his sister Nano once lived in its charming streets. Half-timber-bird houses with flower-filled balconies rise against a backdrop of emerald forests and snow-dusted peaks, while the lake shimmers like glass, reflecting the Alps. Walking through the village, you sense how history and nature blend seamlessly. Traditional inns, quaint chapels, and bustling markets echo centuries of culture and hospitality. Beyond its picturesque beauty, Sankt Gilgen is also a gateway to alpine adventures. In summer, visitors sail across Wolfgangsee or hike panoramic trails leading to Zwilferhorn Mountain. In winter, the village transforms into a snowy wonderland alive with Christmas lights and cozy cafes. What makes it truly special is not just its postcard-perfect scenery, but its ability to feel both intimate and timeless, where every corner invites reflection. Many travelers describe standing on the lakefront, watching boats glide across calm waters, as an experience that lingers in the soul long after leaving. Ada, a charming village in western Norway, sits at the end of Surreal, embraced by dramatic mountains and cascading waterfalls. For centuries, its fertile valleys and abundant water made it an agricultural hub, while in modern times it became a gateway to some of Norway's most spectacular natural wonders. Walking through Ada, you notice how the fjord reflects the sky like a mirror, with colorful wooden houses along the waterfront, telling stories of seafaring traditions. Just beyond, the Foroglio glacier shimmers in the distance, offering hiking and glacier tours for the adventurous. Ada is also the starting point for the world-famous Trolltunga hike, a breathtaking cliff that stretches like a tongue into the air above Ringedalsvik Lake. But beyond the iconic images, what makes Ada unforgettable is its atmosphere. Crisp air, the scent of pine, the sound of waterfalls echoing through the valley. It feels both timeless and alive, where nature and culture blend seamlessly. Many visitors describe Ada as a place where the grandeur of Norway becomes intimate, inviting travelers not just to see the fjords, but to feel them in every sense. A Zumbo, often called the Long Lake, lies hidden in the green embrace of Turkey's Trabzon province, surrounded by dense forests and steep mountain slopes. The village, with its iconic wooden houses and the slender minaret reflected in the still waters, feels almost like a scene painted in a storybook. Much like Lauterbrunnen in Switzerland or Hallstatt in Austria, Uzzumbo is a place where nature and human life blend seamlessly. What makes it truly special, however, is that atmosphere is not just a lake but a living cultural landscape. Walking through its winding paths, you will hear the hum of local tea houses, the aroma of Black Sea cuisine drifting through the air, and the gentle rhythm of prayer calls echoing across the valley. Many visitors say that dawn here is unforgettable. Mist rolls down the mountainsides, covering the lake like a silver veil before the first rays of sunlight break through. Beyond the beauty, Uzzumbo is also a symbol of local resilience, as villagers continue to preserve their traditions of farming, hospitality, and handicrafts despite the growing flow of tourism. It is a place that invites both awe and reflection, where every corner whispers the harmony of nature and tradition. Sozi, a picturesque town in western Slovenia, rests gracefully along the Emerald Soza River, its stone bridges and pastel-colored houses reflecting a history shaped by trade and resilience. Once an important medieval settlement, it still preserves its Gothic church, narrow streets, and traditional houses that lean gently toward the riverbanks. Yet beyond its historic charm lies a living cultural heartbeat. Walking here feels like stepping into a story where nature and history coexist. The river not only carved the valley but also witnessed centuries of human struggle, including battles of the First World War that left deep traces in local memory. Today, visitors can stroll across the iconic bridge, join festivals where music fills the squares, or simply pause to admire the river's astonishing turquoise glow. Many say the Soza has a soul of its own, and standing beside it, you sense both serenity and strength. For those seeking more than just scenery, Kano offers a lesson in resilience, beauty, and the enduring bond between people and their landscape. Sefuri, on the western coast of St. Lucia, feels like a place where nature and history embrace. Once the island's original French capital, it still carries echoes of colonial charm with colorful houses and a relaxed Caribbean rhythm. Towering above the town rise the Twin Pitons, gross and petty, dramatic volcanic spires that have become St. Lucia's most iconic landmarks. Around them, lush rainforests hide waterfalls like Diamond Falls and botanical gardens bursting with tropical blooms. Just outside town lies the world's only drive-in volcano, where steaming sulfur springs remind visitors of the island's fiery origins. Yet Sefuri is not just about scenery, it is about spirit. Walking through the small streets, you hear the laughter of locals, smell Creole dishes simmering with spices, and feel a sense of community shaped by both hardship and resilience. For many travelers, it's the perfect balance of adventure and tranquility. One moment you're snorkeling in turquoise waters over coral reefs. The next you're soaking in natural hot springs said to heal the body. To stand here is to feel St. Lucia's soul raw, beautiful, and unforgettable. Barichara, nestled along the Rhine River in Germany, is a village that feels like it has been lifted from the pages of a fairy tale. Half-timbered houses lean together on cobblestone lanes, and vineyards climb the slopes above, producing wines that have been celebrated for centuries. The Gothic Stolic Castle, once a medieval fortress, now overlooks the town as a youth hostel, offering sweeping views of the valley and river bends below. Walking through Barichara, you can sense how history and daily life are still intertwined. Every square and every church tells a story of trade, faith, and resilience. Beyond its architecture, Barichara's atmosphere is its true treasure. The scent of wine cellars drifts through narrow alleys, and the gentle rhythm of riverboats reminds you that the Rhine has always been this village's lifeline. For travelers, it is more than just a postcard stop. It is a place to pause, sip a Riesling under grapevines, and imagine the medieval pilgrims and poets who once passed through. Barichara invites you to slow down, listen to its quiet charm, and feel part of a living history that continues to unfold along the Rhine. Wae in Switzerland is a car-free alpine village that feels as though it was designed for travelers seeking peace and grandeur in equal measure. Nestled high above the Lauterbrunnen Valley, it is reached only by continental train, which already sets the tone for a journey back in time. Wooden chalets line its narrow lanes, decorated with vibrant flower boxes in summer and dusted with snow in winter. From here, you see the mighty trio of the Eiger, Manunch, and Jungfrau rising in breathtaking symmetry. Wae is not only a place of scenery, but also of tradition folk festivals, alpine horn performances, and seasonal cattle parades remind visitors that life here still moves to the rhythm of the mountains. In winter, its ski slopes host the famous Lauberhorn downhill race, while in warmer months, hiking trails wind past waterfalls, alpine meadows, and serene viewpoints. What makes Wae unforgettable is the silence. No cars, just the sound of cowbells, wind in the pines, and the distant echo of waterfalls. Standing here, one cannot help but feel both humbled and uplifted, as if the Alps themselves are whispering their timeless stories. Flem, tucked deep within Norway's majestic fjord country, feels like a village lifted from the pages of a fairy tale. Nestled at the innermost arm of the Arlandsfjord, it is surrounded by towering cliffs and waterfalls that seem to fall straight from the sky. The Flam Railway, one of the steepest standard gauge train lines in the world, brings travelers through tunnels, past sheer rock faces, and across breathtaking valleys before finally arriving at this tranquil hamlet. Wooden houses and cozy guest lodges line the fjord, reflecting the charm of traditional Scandinavian design. Yet Flam is more than just scenery, it is a place where you feel the rhythm of life slow down. Many visitors take fjord cruises to witness the UNESCO-listed Fjord, a narrow waterway framed by snow-capped peaks, while others hike to viewpoints where the landscape opens like a living canvas. Evenings here are magical, the water mirrors, the glow of the mountains, and silence wraps the village in serenity. Locals still cherish fishing traditions, and you can taste freshly prepared salmon or goat cheese from nearby farms. To be in Flam is to witness nature's grandeur and human heritage intertwining in